When we think about egocentricity, we often associate it with selfishness or immaturity. But in the context of personal development, it's not about being self-absorbed, it's about focusing inward to heal and grow. Egocentricity is a natural part of childhood development. Psychologist Donald Winnicott wrote about how in infancy a child doesn't distinguish between itself and its mother. The child believes it has complete control over its world because it sees itself as one with its caregiver. Separation begins when the child is weaned from its mother's breast. Over time, the child starts to recognize itself as separate from others. But in those early years, the world still feels like it revolves around the child's needs and experiences. And here's the key: if that natural developmental process is disrupted through experiences of rejection and neglect or criticism, the child's sense of self doesn't fully form. Instead, the child clings to an entrenched egocentric perspective as a defense mechanism. When painful experiences happen, the child internalises them, thinking, there must be something wrong with me. This belief can persist into adulthood, shaping behaviours, relationships, and even how we might approach success. So how does this connect to life coaching? Egocentricity isn't just a defense mechanism, it's a gateway to healing. When we embrace and explore egocentricity, we gain access to two important parts of the psyche: the inner child on the one hand and the inner critic on the other. The inner child is the part of us that carries the wounds of our earliest years. It's vulnerable and holds beliefs like I'm unlovable or I'll always fail. On the other hand, the inner critic is like a harsh, protective parent. It mimics the critical voices we heard growing up, saying things like, don't mess up, or you're not good enough. Now these two parts, the inner critic and the inner child, are often locked in a codependent relationship. The inner child feels hurt and scared, while the inner critic works overtime to shame or control the inner child. This dynamic keeps us stuck in negative beliefs and patterns, unable to fully move forward. In transformative life coaching, we interrupt this cycle by working directly with the egocentric parts of the psyche. First, we help clients access their inner child by encouraging them to explore their self-centered patterns. We uncover the unmet needs and emotions that have been buried for years. This isn't about blaming anyone. It's about understanding where the wounds began and how they've shaped us. Next, we then focus on the inner critic. Instead of dismissing it as the bad guy, we approach it with curiosity and eventually compassion. The critic is often trying to protect us, even if its methods are harsh and outdated. By understanding its role, we can help it soften and step back, allowing space for a new, more supportive voice to emerge. But here's the most important piece. Alongside healing the inner child and the inner critic, we help clients develop an internal nurturing parent. This nurturing parent represents the care and support they may not have received growing up. It's a part of the psyche that can meet the inner child's unmet needs, while also calming the inner critic's fears. Through this process, clients are enabled to rewrite their childhood story. They learn that their past doesn't define them and that they can create a new narrative, one rooted in self-compassion, empowerment, and personal growth. For some clients, especially those with pre-verbal wounds, traumas that occurred before language developed, traditional talk therapies may no longer work as effectively. In these cases, techniques like neuro-linguistic programming or somatic work can help. For others with post-verbal wounds, inner child work provides a direct path to healing. The bottom line? Well, egocentricity isn't something to avoid. It's a tool, a powerful way to access the deeper parts of ourselves. By embracing it in therapy or coaching, we can heal the wounds that have held us back, break the cycle of shame, and step into a life of freedom, purpose, and joy. So the next time you hear egocentricity, remember it's not about selfishness, it's about turning inward, doing the work, and discovering the strength that comes from within. That's the true benefit of egocentricity. And if you would like help with this, get in touch. Visit my website and book a free discovery call. And let's see what's possible.